Coming to you from the Kahilu Theater, it's Talk Story Time. And here's your host, Steve Roby. Aloha, Kahilu TV viewers. I'm Steve Roby from Big Island Music Magazine, and this is Talk Story Time. It's a special time in the show where we get to know our guests, our musicians, a little bit closer. And my guest today is Kainani Kahaunaele.
Mahalo.
Close enough.
Aloha, no.
Aloha, so good to see you again.
Nice to see you again.
Great.
Mahalo.
Since we have a global audience watching the show today, I was wondering if you could kind of start with maybe an overview of your music career and a little bit about you.
Okay. Aloha, no. I'm Kainani. I'm from Anahola, Kauai. I currently live in Hilo, and I'm a teacher of Hawaiian language and Hawaiian music at Kahakaʻula o Keʻelikolani College of Hawaiian Language at UH Hilo. And my music career wasn't something that I was really aiming for as, I want to be a singer. It kind of just happened. I do come from a musical family with my great-grandparents, my grandparents, everybody. And I continue to teach my children as well. And I make music all the time. I love to create new songs. I love classic Hawaiian music. And I like to document my process on making albums.
Yeah. So I find it fascinating that you didn't really start a music career until you got to Hilo, right?
Yes.
And started studying and exploring Hawaiian poetry and music. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. I had this deep desire to learn Hawaiian language, and I had a good foundation of Hawaiian music, but I didn't fully understand the songs that I was singing, the songs that I grew up with. And so when I was learning Hawaiian, I was using the foundation of the songs to help me with my language acquisition, and it started to work hand in hand. The more I could understand and speak Hawaiian and research in Hawaiian, the better I was at trying to create mele.
Right.
So,
can you talk a little bit about your songwriting process?
Well, it's important for me to know a lot about places, natural elements, landscapes, and to see the world in the way that our ancestors did. And so by singing, performing, studying, I've learned to have the lens to see the world through mele. And so everywhere I go, I like to research those places. What are the winds, the named rains, the characteristics?
Right.
What should I know about these places?
Yeah.
And then as far as relationships go, there's tons of mele that speak to relationships when you're really, really great and then when you're not so great. And so knowing what kind of contextual words to use, knowing how to deliver and express through phrasing, those all kind of work together.
Your set today kind of took us on a musical tour of this island and other islands too. I found it fascinating. And during your set, you seemed to open up the heavens and it started pouring. That's how powerful your music is.
Mahalo.
Yeah.
Several of my mele had rain motifs inside.
Yeah.
And so it happens.
It worked. Anyway, let's talk about this beautiful album in front of us, Waipunalei. It covers so many different genres, and you sing it all in Hawaiian. And in today's set, I heard a little bit of jazz, a little contemporary music, a little R&B in there. Can you talk about what the influences were for you to include some of this on this album?
Well, my mother, Lady Ipo, is one of my biggest influences. She loves to sing jazz music. And I think it's, even in her playing of Hawaiian music, she has incorporated both. R&B music, I grew up a child of the 80s, and so that was our top 40. You know, it's just what teenagers love.
Yeah.
And I'm learning as my children get into that age and seeing like, oh, that's what they like, okay. And it'll stick with them through their whole life. So
it seemed very comfortable for you.
You know, with my band,
Yeah.
anything is possible.
Wow.
And so I really cherish my band.
Right. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the album. It first came out on CD.
Yes.
And now this is a limited edition release.
Yes.
On colored vinyl. Am I
yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes, we have this blue, this teal. Here it is. I'm only used to black, the usual vinyl,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
standard.
when I had the option to put some colors in there, that
So
was
that's
great.
a limited edition.
Yes. and
Colored vinyl.
Yes.
Gatefold cover with
Words, lyrics,
Oh my gosh.
translations, contextual notes.
Well, let's
So-
talk about the musicians on the stage that you had with you. Can you tell briefly who played today? And were some of them on the album too?
Yes, all of them were on the album. I'll start with our lead guitarist, Daryl Gonzalez. He's actually a dear friend of my mother, and I believe it's because of his love for my mom that he agreed to start working with me on my projects. So he's been on my first, second, and third album, so happy to have him. And then Zachary Lam, who played bass and ukulele, he's one of Hawaii's music geniuses. He's responsible for so many people, students. He's really helped to build foundation for many of Hawaii's youth. And he's a very famous award-winning musician and songwriter as well from his band Keauhou. So happy to have him on board. He played on the Waipunalei project. And then Sean Kekoa Pimentel, oh my goodness, there's so much to say about him. But he produced my second album, and he did some production work on my recent album as well. And he is the quintessential musician. And so whenever I have him on stage, I feel very comfortable, very safe, and that we're going to do a great job.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes. And then on piano, we have Michael Grande. He engineered ʻŌhai ʻUla as well as Waipunalei. And, they're very busy guys. And
Such talent.
World class.
Yeah.
And I'm just happy that they say yes when I ask. So
Good.
mahalo.
Musically, I know it's hard to predict this year, but do you have any plans going forward?
Well, today was a big going forward.
It's a good first step,
Yes, being here,
Yeah.
playing together for, for Hawaii's people and the world. Whoever wants to have us play for them, we will.
That's good. I'll be listening.
Yes. So, we all do live on different islands. So it's a little harder for us to even get together. So when we are on the same stage, we totally maximize our opportunity to be together.
Absolutely.
And play music.
Well, closing question. Where's the best place to find your music? And if somebody wanted to contact you about a future gig
Okay.
when things open up?
I have a website now, and it's still
right.
kind of strange for me to say that. I have a website named after myself. So KainaniKahaunaele.com is the website. So my first and last name. And on there, I have an online store. So that is the only place, pretty much you can get this album. And you can also get the CD there.
Now this is a limit, this is what, 200?
Limited edition.
200?
I printed 200, I gave away 100.
So there's like 3 left?
So there's
Act now.
we still, yes. So, all of them I'll personalize and I'll mail it and, put the best intentions.
Yeah.
I grew up around albums, but as an adult, I never had a collection
Well,
of
they're
my
back.
own.
They're out
So
selling
now they're
CDs
back,
now.
and I'm like, I had to go buy a record player.
Yeah.
Then I was like, which one do you get? So anyway,
Yeah.
you can also follow me on Instagram, Kainani Music, as well as my Facebook fan page, Kainani Music as well. So you can
Google it and
just Google
find
it,
it,
and
find it.
it'll be there.
Great.
Kainani Music.
Okay.
Sometimes a little easier than my website with my last name.
Mahalo, Kainani. Thank you so much for your time today.
Mahalo,
What a
Steve.
beautiful show.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mahalo.
Aloha Kahilo TV viewers, and thanks for tuning in.